So in today's video, I wanted to just share 3 key lessons I've learned growing my business to over $1 million a year in profit by the age of 22, and just kind of break down, my experience having done this at such an early age and kind of what allowed me to, and then also, some of the key ideas I've picked up along the way. It's going to be a very unscripted video. I don't feel the need to, make this one over the top professional. I'm just going to speak kind of straight from the heart and share some of the things that I've learned. So, without further ado, let's just kind of get right into the video and not waste any time. So I'll say to start, one of the major themes that I've picked up on over and over again as I've built my business is just doing less of what doesn't work and more of what does. And I know that sounds overly simplified, but when you can take an otherwise rather complex, field like business and apply a very arguably overly simplified but simple, in fact, sort of mental model to it and way of making decisions to it, then all of a sudden, you can make decisions from a more clean slate and, have more control of the process. So it's a simple idea. Do less of what doesn't work and more of what does. And as I've grown my business, I can honestly say my workload and what I do at, over $100,000 a month in revenue, and my workload and what I did at $10,000 a month in revenue is actually quite similar. It's just doing more of what worked. So, for example, I started to notice that the more sales calls I took, the more my income rose. It was quite simple. So now today, I've built a pretty high functioning sales team that kind of handles a lot of the inflow of potential consults for my company. And so then I've been able to kind of ratchet up how many calls we can take every single day. Whereas when I was kind of a one-man show, I could probably take maybe 4, maybe 5 calls in a single day without my energy levels starting to shrink extremely rapidly, because sales is a pretty mentally intensive thing. But now I've got 2 sales guys who all they do is take calls, and they've optimized their entire life and their lifestyle for it inside of my company, and so they can take 14 hours a day of calls combined. And so now all of a sudden I've taken one process that I know is extremely crucial to the growth of my business, which is sales, and I've built sort of a structure around it that has allowed for more input into that one activity that I've found is quite crucial and critical. And another example is, my client experience. I found that the more one-to-one attention and the more direct feedback somebody can get based on their specific situation, the more results they would end up getting inside of our programs and inside of our offers. And so that's why I now have a brilliant coaching team that is available 24/7 for our clients, so that at any point, if a client has any issues or needs a boost or needs a critique on a sales call, maybe they need a critique on a piece of content that they put out, we've got the coaching team to meet. And because I literally noticed the more time somebody had directly with the authority, the better their results were. And even though the group setting training is powerful, maybe a Q&A call with a bunch of clients in the room all at once is a good way to go, and that's how I still run things. I now supplement that with unlimited one-to-one time, and I found that our client results went through the roof when I discovered that. And another example of, an activity or a task that, got me an asymmetric return for my time and energy input would be content like this piece of YouTube content that you're watching, or on Instagram, or in our Facebook group, or other platforms like that. And so I decided to kind of build a better system for it. Now I have an editor. You can say, hey, Robert, if you want to. He's a good dude, and I send him all the files. He actually takes care of everything. And so all I have to do is just move everything into a Drive folder, and then he takes it straight from that folder, puts it onto YouTube, and I don't have to think about it from there. And then for YouTube ideas, I just source those straight from my clients who are actually already actively working with me, because the whole idea of my YouTube content is that it adds some value, builds some trust, and it shows you that we're a real business that could get you real results, and that even if you don't pay us a dime, my YouTube content can help you grow your coaching or your consulting business, whether you pay us any money or not, so that you realize that we could help you even further if you were to invest into one of our programs. So YouTube acts as this extremely critical, sort of leverage point in my company and in my career. And so I've built a good system around it so that I can do more of it at more scale with arguably less effort. Scaling a business really is a game of identifying the activities that get you an asymmetric yield for your input. Things like sales or content or client results and communication. These things are 3 areas, and I could probably make a list of 10 or 15 of these areas that have allowed me to have a lot of force or a lot of leverage is really the best word I can come up with, but I guess I could say a lot of out for very little in. Really, all I have to do to run my $1 million a year profit business is show up to my call for my clients and answer all their questions and help them continue to grow their businesses, and then make the occasional piece of YouTube content and maybe hop on the phone with a 2 or 3 times a week consult with somebody who might potentially be joining our higher tier mastermind level program. And so at that rate, we're able to sustain a good anywhere from 100 and maybe on the low end in a month to 180 on the high end in a single month in sales. 180,000, 100,000 in sales, which it operates at about 65% profit margins. So that's the first lesson. It's really a pretty simple one. It's just, like I said, do more of what works and do less of what doesn't. And when I say do more, doing more doesn't just mean you doing more. Hopefully you can see by my example that doing more also means building good systems or putting people in place to help you create, more of those inputs that you've found are really driving revenue for your company. Next idea that I've really learned is there's really no such thing as competitors. It's really just you versus you. Your market might recognize other people and they might compare you to other offers that might be similar to yours, but your job really is to stay on the cutting edge and to serve your current clients well, because reality is if you're looking to your competitors to find ways to serve your clients, you might actually miss a lot of creative breakthroughs that would then eventually give you an edge on your competition without you even necessarily thinking about them. And so I think when I got started in my entrepreneurial journey, I was extremely competitor focused, and I would just see what they were doing and then try and kind of do my version of what they're doing. But nowadays, even though I might use some of the same tools and some of the same general strategies, the offer is quite different. The amount of results we get is quite different. And the general company and community culture that we've created is bar none, nothing like what anybody else has on the market. And that's because I legitimately have just befriended all of my competitors, and I have monthly masterminds with most of the guys that you may know and are familiar with. And we just share notes, and I learn what they're doing and they learn what I'm doing. And that way you can sort of thrive in that way. But that said, I guess the point that I'm making is being customer-centric versus competitor-centric. Competitor-centric companies are always one step behind the customer-centric company that is leading the wave and leading the path for the other companies. You can take Amazon, for example. Amazon was the most customer-centric e-commerce company pretty much to live, and because they were so focused on quick delivery, cheap prices, and a great service, now all these other companies are rushing to catch up with them. Amazon is basically just the internet version of Walmart, and yet Walmart never thought about using the internet to allow for, purchases until Amazon came around. And so, now that all these companies are scrambling to keep up, like Walmart and eBay and all these other major, online sort of retailers, they're so far behind because Amazon is constantly innovating and making their customer experience better and better and better, whereas these other companies are just looking at each other and they're just trying to stay one step ahead of each other. This is almost like a me versus me mentality versus a me versus them mentality. My competitors aren't competitors in my head. I really don't even think about them. They're just maybe friends, and I'll maybe check what they're doing once every other month and then congratulate them on their success and then talk about it on our next mastermind call, but then get back to work on creating a good client experience and working on my reputation in the marketplace, because really that's what's going to grow my bottom line. That's what's going to help my clients succeed, and that's what's going to give me the most peace and tranquility and excitement and love for what I do. If I'm constantly playing catch up with other individuals in the marketplace, I'm not actually creating a business. I'm just creating a mirror of what's going on in the market. and it's not actually something that I can call my own, and it's not something that I, because I've been there at one point, it wasn't something that I was horribly excited to do. It was just making me money, and I was just kind of modeling other people, and I'm not, to this day, I'm still, kind of regretful over that sort of stage, I would say. And another lesson that I've learned is really getting to a place where you're not running this business for any other reason outside of loving running the business. A business can be quite profitable, and it can really change your life from a financial perspective. But once you've made enough money, you realize that money doesn't actually do that much for you. And it doesn't really have that much of an effect on your day-to-day lifestyle or who you can be and what you can do for others. At the end of the day, money is just a tool that solves money-related problems. And it takes, what would otherwise be quite stressful problems and maybe just turns them into a check that you can write. And, by no means am I saying that that's not a huge blessing. I don't want to really sound tone deaf or arrogant and say that I'm not extremely grateful for that blessing. But I am saying that if you are running your business solely for the money and there's not a love of what you do, then you'll reach a certain amount of money and you'll plateau at that point because you don't really see why you need more money. For me, I really do enjoy serving entrepreneurs and kind of leading by example for a lot of these people who are trying to start successful online businesses, and not just an online business for the sake of passive income, but actually doing work that they love. And that's what I really empower our clients inside of our consulting blueprint and scaling blueprint programs to do. We really give them all the tools necessary that I've needed in order to grow my companies. And we just kind of download it straight into them so that they can go out and, build their own businesses. And, it's pretty incredible what that's been able to do, for our clients, but I won't make this video, a sales pitch by any means. But I just want you to understand, it's important that you really do enjoy what you do, and that the money is a really neat side benefit. But if you can create this cool blend of your thinking where you're kind of mixing the thinking of, what's best for the business and what's the most profitable thing to do with what's best for the customer and what would I do if I truly loved the market that I served. And you could meet those things kind of at this intersection of, most profitable and the thing that I most enjoy. Then you can create a very symbiotic work relationship in your own head between something that you love and are passionate about and see as being really eternally meaningful for the world at large, while also then having a business that's quite profitable and does allow you to have a lavish lifestyle if you so desired to have one, or to put some money away and, kind of invest for your future, which is kind of more the, angle that I'm taking right now, where I'm not really living that, lavishly as compared to how much money that I bring in profit from my businesses, but I am still, still growing the business, and I'm putting a lot of money away. So, hopefully that kind of makes sense. And then just one last idea is this idea that how you do anything is how you do everything. So, with your business, odds are the problems that are in that business aren't actually business problems. Odds are they're problems that are actually in you that then kind of show up in the business. And so your best work on your business is actually work on yourself. So Jim Rohn has a great quote, and he says, if you can learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your career, then you'll succeed as wildly as you desire to. And I really agree with that idea. Your job isn't to work on your company per se. It is, but it's more so to work on the vessel that decisions are made, for your business and for your company. And so your job is to really develop as much self-awareness as possible, and kind of be in constant contact with your actual self, not really lying to yourself about who you are, not really trying to put on some fake mask so that you don't have to address some of the things that you're doing and that you're not proud of or whatnot. And really just coming to terms with yourself and sort of facing the music. Otherwise, you're going to be operating from a place of lack of power. You're not really going to have any power in your life because you aren't harmonized with the truth in yourself. And I know this kind of sounds philosophical and kind of spiritual, but it really is true that if you aren't in harmony with yourself and you aren't actively growing, then you can't really speak anything good into being, including the growth of your business. So if you are, secretly, addicted to a vice, or you are, and let me be honest, like, there are business owners that have grown a massive business, having affairs on the side. But I like to think that, a pure mind, a pure heart, and a pure state enables you to have a pure business. And I see a pure business as being something that actually lasts. Very rarely does somebody's wealth last when they aren't managing the other areas of their life as well. So yeah, how you do anything is how you do everything. You have to grow yourself in order to grow your business. And that kind of brings me to my last point, which is something I like to call work-life harmony versus work-life balance. Right now I'm going through a very interesting transitional period in my life where I'm engaged to be married later this year. And then I'm also growing this business at the same time, making a lot of hires. This is my first time having a team in my entire career, and so I'm learning a lot there, while I also learn a lot about being engaged and kind of getting ready for that season of being newly married. And so there's just a lot of challenges that come with this season that are forcing me to be able to learn how to harmonize both ends of my life and both spectrums, both ends of both spectrums, or both ends of the spectrum, sorry. And so I would encourage you to really think about, work-life balance not being so much of a balance where it's a teeter-totter, but actually it being a harmony where it's more of a circle, where, you kind of show up at home with the people that you love and you enjoy it, which then makes you enjoy your work more, which then makes you enjoy your home more. And it really should be kind of this cycle where they both feed off of each other and they both win together, versus it being this trade-off and this constant deciding which one is most important to you. And if that were the case for me, then I would have never been able to grow my business to the point that I've grown it today, because it's required an amount of time sacrifice that I just simply do not believe most people are willing to commit. So anyway, that's been this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully it's been valuable for you, and it kind of gave you some insights into some, of the key ideas and lessons that I've learned growing my business. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content on, growing your own consulting, coaching, or service-based business. And I will see you all in the next one.